When I reached the empty gate and saw the departure board sitting still and silent, I knew something was off. Not the ordinary kind of wrong. Not a delay. Not a gate switch. Something colder, intentional. I checked my ticket again. Flight 217 to Portland, Maine. November 12th, 9:45 a.m. The same date printed in my mother's neatly forwarded email. I could almost hear her voice repeating, "Don't be late this time, sweetheart." I wasn't. They were. As the final passengers disappeared down the jetway, I called. Mom picked up on the second ring, the sound of wind and laughter weaving through her words. "Oh, sweetie," she said lightly. "We're already at Lake Sebago. Why didn't you come yesterday?" At first, the words didn't sink in. They hovered, almost teasing, until her laughter cracked through them. That's when it hit me. They had lied. I hung up, went home, and said nothing. They'd always enjoyed their little games. Dad with his test of character, Mom with her tough love lessons. They called it parenting. I called it conditioning. When I was 16, they forgot to pick me up after the debate finals, claiming they wanted to see how resourceful I was. At 21, they canceled my graduation dinner, saying it would teach humility. Every time, I forgave them, because they were my parents, because I wanted to believe that cruelty wrapped in affection could still be love. But this time was different. This wasn't a lesson. It was a message. They didn't want me there, and for the first time, I didn't feel like forgiving them. The next morning, I opened our family group chat. Photos flooded in. Mom in her floppy sun hat. Dad at the grill by the lake. Captions dripping with false sweetness. "Wish you were here." I typed 3 words, then erased them. Instead, I scrolled through Mom's email drafts. She was never careful with passwords. Their entire itinerary sat right there. They'd be gone 5 days, flying back Saturday evening. Flight 289, landing at 6:40 p.m. That gave me time. Step 1 was silence. No calls, no replies. They'd expect me to sulk, maybe throw a fit. I gave them nothing. Next came their shared savings account. I'd set it up years ago when Dad said he didn't trust that online stuff. My name was still listed as secondary administrator. I didn't touch a cent. I just redirected their auto payments. Quiet tweaks, utilities, taxes, everything. Temporarily frozen. Then I canceled their car service from the airport and rebooked it for Sunday, one invisible adjustment at a time. By Friday night, the pieces were in place. Saturday, 6:40 p.m. I waited by the arrivals gate, the terminal lights flickering pale across my windshield. They appeared together, sunburned, wheeling their matching luggage. Dad shirt half untucked, Mom smile tight with fatigue. I watched them through the glass, the way a biologist might observe a specimen before dissection. When they reached the curb, Mom pulled out her phone. I didn't answer. 5 minutes later, she called again, then Dad. Still nothing. Eventually, realization dawned. No car, no ride, no one waiting. Their smiles faltered. I waited until they started arguing. Then I stepped out of my car. Mom's face flickered, confusion, surprise, then guilt thinly disguised as warmth. "Sweetheart, you're here." I smiled. "Of course. You said I missed the trip, remember? I wanted to be early this time." Dad's eyes darted toward the terminal, already searching for control. "Let's just go home," he said. "We can talk there." "Oh, home." I let the word linger. "You'll have to wait for that. The power's off. The water, too. And the locks, well, they've been changed." Mom blinked. "What do you mean?" I leaned in slightly. "I mean, you shouldn't give lessons you can't stand being graded on." For the first time in my life, they were speechless. I handed them a small envelope. Inside were 2 keys and a note. "You taught me independence. Consider this my graduation." I walked away before they could open it. That night, they called again, then texted. By morning, both numbers were blocked. I kept the house. Legally, it was still half mine. Dad never filed the paperwork correctly. They ended up renting a small place closer to the airport. Sometimes, postcards still arrive. "Hope you're doing well," written in Mom's careful handwriting. I never respond. It's strange how silence becomes its own language. How revenge doesn't always need shouting or fire. Sometimes it's just an absence, a missing seat at the table, a flight that never boards. They taught me how to live without comfort. I simply showed them I learned. When they came home that night and found no one waiting, they finally understood.